too many buttons.
Yeah.
All right, I can call this meeting to order. Could you please rise to the-
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approve the minutes?
Sure. July 2nd, 2024, the regular meeting of the Franklin Town Board was called to order by Don Smith, supervisor, at 7:30 p.m. Present were Donnie Smith, Garrett Fitch, Dwight Bruno, Teddy Story, Jamie Archibald, Greg Petula, and Paul Warner. The minutes were read from the June 4th, 2024 meeting. Dwight made the motion to approve minutes as read. Teddy Story seconded the motion. All present agreed. Garrett reported that KECC is putting a new roof on the shed. They now have a pickleball court, and the parsonage will be power washed and painted. Jamie Archibald reported that the generators are in and operating. The old backhoe has been picked up and paid for. The new backhoe has been delivered and is ready to use. The work on the back roads is done for now. The rental grader has been sent back. He found a small asphalt roller from Milton Cat for $6,500. Teddy made the motion to approve purchase of the roller. Dwight seconded the motion. All present agreed. The Rec Commission sent an update on what they have been doing. Greg said he has some new houses going up, garages, etc. He has been working with the campground proposal at Blueberry Farm and the school in Treadwell. He's been mailing letters to Airbnb owners, trying to make appointments to meet with them. Also trying to catch up some old open permits from the past few years. Teddy said that planning board meeting is going to continue with North Star Farm and Jonah Shaw next month. A couple bold boundary line adjustments will be back also. Dwight said the Treadwell Water District is mainly in the hands of Cedarwood Engineering. They are working on getting grants at the present time. It's looking positive to get $960,000 from the federal government. It still has to go through more discussions at congressional and administrative levels, but it's looking good. Donnie said the county is asking for input from each town for future economic purposes. He asked the board for any input. Brian Brock asked if there would be access to the town Kellogg property in Treadwell with someone else owning the school. He was told there is a driveway onto the property that doesn't cross the school property. Garrett made a motion to go in executive session for legal issues at 7:50 p.m. Dwight seconded the motion. All present agreed. The board returned from executive session at 8:15 p.m. Jamie Archibald asked for permission to pursue a 10-wheeler on the auction site. Garrett made the motion for Jamie to go ahead looking for a 10-wheeler on auction site. Dwight seconded the motion. All present agreed. Garrett made the motion to list the F-350 and the Ford tractor on the auction site. Teddy seconded the motion. All present agreed. With nothing further to come before the board, the meeting was adjourned at 8:30 p.m.
Any corrections or changes? I have a motion to accept.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. We won't have a report from KECC because Garrett's ill. Highway super.
Over the last month, we've been doing mainly just general repairs to roads. We've added gravel, done some ditching, some roadside mowing. We've been helping a lot of other towns out quite frequently, doing paving and different things as part of our shared service agreements with them. We worked with Lefevre Tree Service for a couple days to remove some dangerous trees around the township, and as we get time, we'll remove some more of them. The new roller that we talked about last month has been delivered. We've not had a chance to use it yet, but it's here in our possession. And we ended up getting the 2012 Western Star dump truck, fully equipped. And that's here, and we'll start using that this week. So, that's all I really have for you this month.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay, Recreation Committee.
I don't know if you wanna take it away.
No, you.
All right, I'll send you what you said. Hannah sent me an update this morning.
Yeah, and then Paula sent me the unofficial minutes, so I was like, oh.
Okay. Anyway, the second session of swim lessons are in full force. Updates made, sand filter is scheduled to be replaced, hot water heater has been installed. They're also looking into grants for a new pool house roof and exploring fundraising ideas. This is the overview.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Code Enforcement Officer.
Yeah, well, I've been here a year. I made it through the year.
Congratulations.
I started last July sometime, it was in the middle of July, I think. So, it's not too busy the last few months, actually. It's been pretty quiet. Some people doing some renovations, like I said, the garages and some houses, but not a lot going on out there. I sent out a bunch of letters for the Airbnbs and crickets. Not a lot of people jumping on call and sending in money to try to, get me in there. So I might have to start having to send them out certified. That's gonna be a decision the board's gonna have to make, I guess. I don't know, it's like $8 a letter to send them out that way. I mean, we have like 40 of them or something like that, but you let me know if that's what you wanna do. But regular mail, people could say they never got them. So we got a few people that called me about them, and they want to make sure that they have the places ready before they set up an appointment with me and to schedule them or whatever, because they're being rented out. I said, well, it's utmost important we have, they're safe for the people to be occupying them. What else going on? A lot of stuff with the planning board and stuff. I'll let Teddy explain that. There's a little bit of drama with the little campground, stuff like that, it's gonna go on in Treadwell with the meat place and the cannabis place. Other than that, some housekeeping stuff. I don't know, I talked to today, the roof on my building is leaking still, the roof over my office. I mean, the ceiling's all bubbling and falling apart.
I've reached out to them.
Really, you have somebody coming?
I don't know, I've reached out and
Okay.
spoke to them about it and let them know that it existed. So,
Okay.
so other than that, I'll reach out to them again and remind them
Okay.
and let them know.
Before it starts getting all moldy and
Oh,
stuff,
no,
and it's pretty, the tape's all starting to peel and hang from the ceiling. Now, it doesn't look good as the code enforcement officer when your room is falling apart, and we're gonna have them fix the front stairs, which aren't built to code, that somebody put on the front of the stairs. So,
Boy, I'll probably have a meeting with them again pretty soon anyhow.
okay.
We typically do with the next couple months, but I'll call them up again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other than that, really, just like I said, I'm following up on a lot of the old permits. We have years and years worth of permits that are not closed, so trying to reach out to everybody, make appointments, try to get those permits closed up, because they're just all lingering. People have never got COs on a lot of houses around here, a lot of garages around here, a lot of stuff is hanging open, so. It's gonna be revolving constantly, so that's any municipality the same way.
Have you heard anything from the festival people?
Nope, he's reached out to me twice, I've called him back twice. He sent me an email, I sent him an email, and just like crickets. It's not, I have a house that they were doing up there on the same property, which I have a couple issues with the house. I'm not giving that house a CO. There's some stuff I have to deal with the builder on. He was supposed to get me some documentation on stuff that I wasn't happy with, so you know, and then there's the other house, supposedly there's another cabin up in the top, which I have never got to see, so I can't go trespassing up there without an invite, so. Work on it,
Yeah.
one thing at a
Probably
time,
gonna get
yeah.
rained out this weekend, I think.
Yeah, I don't think anything's really gonna happen. But does anybody else have any questions for me?
I imagine we have a rough idea, a list of Airbnbs.
Yeah, we have a pretty good list together, yeah. If you'd like, I can distribute a copy to the
No,
board or
no,
whatever.
it's just-
so.
You know, where we go from here if we're not getting any response, so, like you said, sending certified letters is a possibility. So-
Yeah, that's the next step. I just didn't know, right now, I'm just sending them out regular mail. I mean, I don't know if you would authorize me to send them out certified, but they're like, I think $9 a letter to send them out certified these days, yeah.
So the
So,
board can discuss that, you know.
okay.
How many, do you have a
I have
rough?
about 50
About
need to be sent out. So, I mean, it's
You've sent them all a regular mail right now, and that you've got.
correct. I've gotten a lot of people calling me and telling me they're gonna send them back with the payment, and they wanna schedule it as soon as they get up. A lot of the people that own these houses are not from around here, actually, they're from they're actually from the downstate. And they rent the houses out on the weekends, which, you know, part of our regulations is there's somebody nearby to take care of the places. They do have, people I talked to said they have like cleaning people to come and clean and change the linens and stuff like that, so they were all trying, they have to organize it with the people to. It's gonna be, you know, once we get the first round and we inspect them all, then it'll be easy to keep track of them all. Once we get the people in a routine of get them inspected every year to make sure that they're following the guidelines. But they've gotten away with it for so long, so they're gonna continue to until we push the issue probably. And the people that don't comply after, you know, we try, after we send a certified letter, and we find out that they were signed, but then we can send a violation, say you didn't call us to schedule an inspection, so your property's in violation, so.
Okay, thank you.
And Brian Brock did extensive research on all of the Airbnbs, and Brian, you were coming up with new names just about almost on a daily basis, weren't you?
Yeah, right.
Brian shared, Brian did a lot of homework for me, he shared a lot of the ones he found with me, which was really helped me out, because there was a lot of research to find them all. There's some I'm just picking up, there's some that don't exist anymore, you know, there's some, they're all over. It's just trying to find them all.
Yeah.
There's probably 50 different websites that they're listed on, maybe even more.
Yeah, and some are by owners that aren't
Yeah.
Outlook's website at all.
Yeah, so.
Okay, thank you. Patty?
It was another busy meeting. We had Mike Abate from Stewart Road. He's taken over the old Love and Hope Animal Shelter, and he wants to turn it into a dog kennel training and grooming facility. He gave some information. The planning board had some questions, but he has been moved onto the agenda for next month for a public hearing. North Star came, there were still some complaints, but not as many as the month before. And the planning board and Greg went for a site visit. And it sounded like there was more agreement, and the woman who lives very nearby that could see the tops of the domes from her driveway, I think they were mediating it with some natural plantings so it wouldn't be as visible. So that seems to be moving along. We closed the public hearing on that. We will still take written comment, but it is on the agenda for next month. Jonah Shaw with the Treadwell School, he did not come to this meeting. Apparently he had a long planned vacation, so we expect to see him next month. But the planning board started working on a long list of concerns that we hope they'll be able to address at the next meeting. Other than that, there was a simple boundary line adjustment, and that was it for this month.
Thank you, Teddy.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's move forward to old business, which brings us to Treadwell Water. And Dwight, do you have anything you want to mention before we turn it over to Nick.
Sure. Well, it's been long awaited. We're very fortunate that we're on the 2025 Community Project funding through the federal government. We were awarded through the efforts of Mark Molinaro, our Assemblyman Chris Teague, and Senator Pete Oberacker to receive $960,000 for upgrade and bringing up to standards the Treadwell Water District. So that's really good news, and we go from there.
Thank you, Dwayne. Hey, Nick, you got, this is Nick Baldwin. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Nick Van Dalen with Cedarwood.
And he's here from Cedarwood, and we have a seeker for the purpose of what we're doing at Treadwell Water, correct?
Yep.
Can you please, go ahead,
Oh, okay, so, you don't need me to look at that, right?
wherever you want to be.
So, back in, I believe it was May of this year, I was here at the board meeting where we started the seeker process for the Tribal Water District's capital improvements project. It's a project to install 2 new wells on a town-owned parcel of land, as well as a new water storage tank and new water treatment. So the seeker process was done as a type 1 action because that's a requirement for the EFC funding. The FEAF Part 1 was filled out then and submitted. It was coordinated review, so all involved agencies were contacted. A couple responded, like U.S. Fish and Wildlife asked for just a detailed species list for the surrounding area. Once we did that, they were satisfied. And then State Historic Preservation Office was also contacted, and we received a night of determination letter from them. Other than that, we haven't had any other responses, so the town can move forward as the lead agency. Part 2 and 3 of the FEAF form have been filled out. All impacts that have been addressed, any environmental impacts. The ones that were flagged in the Part 2 were impact on land, but everything will abide by DEC regulations, so yes.
Yeah, just a quick question.
Yeah.
The negative response from the historical means they didn't have an issue with anything?
Correct, so there's nothing of historical significance in the
Gotcha.
adjacent area or in the area that any portion of the project was proposed.
Great.
And then we also had a flag for impact on groundwater. That's just because how the question reads, so it's basically you're installing wells, so they're going to have some impact on groundwater because you're taking water outside of the aquifer. But everything will be in compliance with New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the DEC, and a water withdrawal permit will be applied for. That is part of the project, so that is just listed as on the FEAF form, and that's kind of explained as to why that's not going to have a significant environmental impact, and it will comply with DEC standards. And then the third one is impact of noise, odor, and light. It's minor impacts due to construction equipment, so something typical in EPA standards and DEC standards will be followed. So because those minor and typical construction activities were the only ones flagged and there's not going to be significant environmental impacts, this form is filled out so that the town of Franklin can declare that this project will result in no significant adverse impacts to the environment, and therefore an environmental impact statement need not be prepared. Accordingly, this negative declaration is issued. And then it just, after this, what would happen if the town board signs, would be the supervisor, Donnie, then this will be listed and published on the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation's Environmental Notice Board, and it is listed on there for a period of a month, and then after that month, it's either 2 weeks or a month, then the seeker process is considered closed fully. During that portion of time, anybody can comment about the project and submit something to the DEC. The DEC will then review it and then go back to the town and say there is an issue here. Which all the FEAF forms have been done, so that's very unlikely. I've never had that happen. But it is just public notice and posting. So I drafted a resolution for the town It is a resolution adopting a negative declaration for the Treadwell Water District System Improvements Project. And it reads, whereas the Treadwell Water District Improvements Project has been classified as a Type 1 action due to the project scope, the Treadwell Water District System Improvements Project includes 2 new water source wells, a new water treatment building, approximately 600 feet of new transmission main, and the construction of a new storage tank. Whereas the town of Treadwell, or the town of Franklin determines that that it will act as lead agency status and involved agencies for the above referenced project. Whereas the seeker process requires a lead agency to be designated to facilitate the seeker review process and to make the determination of significance when provided the sufficient information. Now and therefore be resolved that based on the agreement from all involved agencies and without objection, the Town of Franklin Town Board has declared itself as the lead. Resolved, having completed Part 2 and 3 of the FEAF, the Franklin Town Board as lead agency hereby determines the proposed project will result in no significant adverse effects on the environment for reasons set forth in Part 3 of the FEAF. Resolved that the Town of Franklin Town Board is authorized to take all actions reasonable and necessary to file the negative declaration and discharge the Franklin Town Board's responsibility as lead agency for this action. So we, Cedarwood, filled out Part 2 and 3 on behalf of the town, and I sent them out for you guys to review. And this is the negative declaration resolution that I wrote.
So, do we have a motion to accept this resolution?
Make the motion.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Nick. You've got a copy of that, right?
Yep.
All right, you'll need that signed before.
Yep. Did you want me to give a quick update about the project too?
Yeah, you could give a quick update.
Yes. Which is where the project's at. Back in June, the engineering report was submitted along with the WIA application for New York State EFC WIA funding, as well as EWSRF funding, which is a drinking water state revolving fund. So if any other funds come available, that can still be used as a portion of a local match, which is just a loan that will be put onto the water district itself. But everything's been submitted, an engineering report has been done, and usually responses take anywhere from like 3 to 5 months. We expect to hear back sometime within September to November.
Thank you, Nick. We'll sign that and get that, so you've got it. So you read it, right? All right. We'll move on to new business. I got a letter here from the American Legion that they'd like read. So it reads that nearly 3 decades ago, the town made a brutal agreement to sponsor the American Legion with a down of $1,500 each year. The agreement was made between Greta Rich, that was at that time the acting town supervisor after her husband George had died, and Ken Taylor, who was the past post commander. Nearly 3 decades have come and gone, and the Legion has never asked the town for an increase of funds. Things that the town allots the Legion are for the purchasing of flags and markers for the veterans of the Alliot Valley Cemetery and its township. As of 2024, we honored over 500 veterans that were buried in the Alliot Valley Cemetery. We also honor our veterans in the Plymouth Church Cemetery, East Meredith Cemetery, North Franklin Cemetery, Treadwell Cemetery. There are also 3 veterans in the Treadwell Corner Cemetery, along with 1 veteran in the Egerton Cemetery behind the firehouse on Main Street that we honor. The markers program was stated at the bicentennial of 1976. All veterans have a marker, so we know where to put their flags on the Memorial Day. If you've ever driven by the Alliot Cemetery after Mother's Day, you'll see all the beautiful American flags waving in the breeze. It is indeed a beautiful sight. Beside grave markers and flags, we keep honoring the veterans each year with a Memorial Day parade and ceremony at the cemetery with a 21-gun salute of our fallen comrades The only year that this was not done was during COVID-19. Each year, the Legion awards an 8th grade student from Franklin Central School with an Americanism and Citizenship Award, who sponsor a Junior Girls State and a Junior Boys State Award each year. This is a coveted award that only one boy and one girl from FCS gets to attend each year. This award for the Franklin students gets them to attend a local college for a week-long forum on civics and government. This program hosted 2 Franklin Central students that went on to go to West Point. We are respectfully requesting an increase in the endowment. The cost of our markers for the grave sites has more than tripled in the last 30 years. We have never passed this cost on to the families of the veterans. The Legion has tried to absorb these costs over the years. The last few years it's been very difficult. Our membership is diminishing with the passing of our fellow members and comrades. With fewer helpers, our only fundraiser is our chicken barbecue on Memorial Day. Your consideration to our request will show that Franklin is a veteran-friendly and will enable us to continue our efforts to honor the sacrifice of our veterans. Respectfully, Steve Banks, Commander of the Alliot Valley American Post, number 1689. That is something that obviously we will be discussing and considering for this year's budget, okay? All right, thank you. Next on new business is a sign for Main Street, the Main Street offices. You wanna take the lead on the sign?
And just Gary Arndt and I had talked that the one that we have there is pretty bad looking. It needs some updating, I think. And he mentioned we didn't know if there was anything left with the ARPA money, enough just to do a sign, or what was
We can
left.
look into it and see where it goes. Nothing else, I'm sure we can come up with something so as to address it, because it is starting to bother.
Yeah.
So, I'll leave that alone for video. Okay. With that, open discussions and questions.
Speaking of ARPA, has all the money been appropriated? Is there anything left?
Paul, do you have the exact figures or not?
Of what's appropriated? No, I do not have the exact numbers. But no, I don't believe it's all been appropriated, but I don't think there's much. There's money left, but most of it's appropriated. What was it, was less than,
I think it's only like 2,500.
is it all just 25, like 2,500 in that neighborhood, don't quote me, there's not a lot
Yeah.
that hasn't been appropriated.
But time's running out.
I understand, but it has to be appropriated, it doesn't have to be spent.
Right, I realize that.
Okay.
So I just wanted to thank the board and the planning board on behalf of the village for taking the village's concerns about the campground into consideration with everything. And then as a sidebar, I looked at that festival's website and they have closed reservations. They said it's by invite only now. So, who knows what's happening. But I just wanted to thank you.
You're not invited, Graham? I'm familiar with that. No, you're not invited.
Oh, no.
I just do a little snooping here and there, you know?
They don't like inviting recruit personnel, things like that.
Anyone else? Okay, I do believe we have to go into executive session for personnel, correct? Yes? Have a motion?
I make a motion to go into executive
Second?
session.
Thank you all. Don't forget the Franklin Days, people. Come and enjoy yourself.
When is it?
August 24th.
August
The camera died, was that supposed to be for Kellogg?
I don't know when he was here, but he was there.